Hey, this is Seagrove, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about skill and improvement versus results. And those are actually two very different things. So I think a lot of people who watch my channel recognize that while luck affects a tournament or two, it doesn't, your skill determines your results in general. So I had a couple regionals recently. I feel like I got super unlucky at those regionals, but I got super lucky at a couple cups recently, so I can't complain. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. And what I can change is my skill, and I can improve as a player, and that will get me better results. So that's what I like to focus on here at this channel, is improvement and skill. And I don't like to talk about luck. It's pointless. But anyways, back to the target of this video. So if you're a new player coming into the game and you want to improve quickly, that's a very different goal from wanting to get results quickly. And you can approach it in two different ways depending on what you want. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to try to get results right away. You'll need to get better. It'll be a slower process, but it's a less painful process. So it's really depending on what your goals are, what you want out of the game as you're starting. So when I started, I didn't have a great player to take me under their wing, show me the ropes, teach me how to improve the quickest. I was just playing, and I played what won. And what won for me was easy decks. So I would play super aggressive decks that are pretty easy to pilot, and I would win and win locally, and then I would get to top 4 or whatever, and I would lose in top 4. I had a ton of top 4s, or second place or whatever. And you can do that. That can happen. You can win stuff. I won stuff playing these easy aggressive decks, but you're more likely going to maybe make top 8 or top 4 and then lose to a player who's playing a more complicated deck, who's a more skilled player. But if you're trying to get results early, you want to play these easy decks that are straightforward, linear as we call them, not fewer decisions. People talk about the game of Pokemon like it's super easy. Oh, this deck, all you have to do is X. Well, there are fundamentals in the game of Pokemon that you have to learn that are actually pretty complicated, and basically no one has mastered them. But this deck may have fewer decisions to make than another deck. Like I used to play Rainbow Road when that was a viable deck last season, and it had fewer decisions to make than Yveltal did. Right, which was a very complicated deck, and I would always lose to Yveltal. So that's sort of if you want to win now, then play aggressive decks that are easy and straightforward, and then you can get your top 8, your top 4, or whatever. Like I would play, until this season, I really was just playing aggro decks because I didn't trust in my ability. And so I went to 3 regionals, I top 64 2 of them, just playing these aggro decks. And those are the kind of results you're going to get if you're just playing easy, straightforward, aggressive decks. You can get the top 64s. Now I've turned my eyes into focus on, I've been more greedy. I want to get that top 32 now. I want to win League Cups. And I've been playing decks like Espeon Garbodor. I've been playing decks like Zoroark. Zoroark Salazzle, which is my own deck. These decks are more complicated to play, especially Zoroark. You're having to trade. Those decks are really complicated to play, but I'm at a point now where I trust in my ability, where I wasn't at that before. So if you're coming into the game and you want to improve rather than just get the results now, you want to, instead of winning the game now, you want to win the long game. You want to win in the long run. You want to become that good player. Then you need to do what advice that I keep hearing, I think is great advice. You pick up the hardest deck and you master it, and then when you pick up other decks, it's not going to be so hard for you. So if you can play the hardest deck to a good level, then you'll be able to pick up other decks easier. And I think that's true. It's not like, oh, I can just easily pick up a deck now, and it's not like playing a deck 100 times is going to make you a master of it, especially if you're a new player to the game. So you need to pick up the hardest deck, master it, play against good people. Because the reason that I was having these results with these aggressive decks was because the deck is straightforward, so my mistakes weren't being punished by the deck, and my mistakes weren't being punished by my opponent. When I got to top fours, I had a ton of top fours last season because I was playing better people and they would punish me. So I would make a mistake and they would punish that mistake. And that's when you learn. But if you're not playing a good opponent, or you're not playing or you're playing an easy deck, you're less likely to get punished for your mistakes. Now, when you're playing these complicated decks, your mistakes are going to be harder. Like Zorak Glisopod's a great deck to pick up now. It's not easy to play, and it's a solid deck, so it's always going to be decent, I think. But if you can play that, then if you can master that, then you can master a lot of other decks. So I really suggest picking up that hard deck, challenging yourself. If your goal is to get better, improve in the long run, then pick up something like that. If your goal is to get points now, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you have a point goal, you're not going to improve as quickly, but you can start getting results by playing these aggressive linear decks. If you are saying, you know, this season I'm not going to get my invite, I don't care about points, I'm just going to get better so the next year I can get my invite, okay, then you need to be playing the hardest deck, mastering it against the hardest opponents you can. And that's not always the easiest, but find someone who's at or above your skill level and keep testing with them, and that's a really great way. So hopefully, if you're entering the game, or you know someone who's entering the game, this video can be a benefit to you or to that person, and you can decide what your goals are. Do you want to win now, or do you want to win in the long run? And it always sounds like, oh, you definitely want to win in the long run, but you need to decide what your goals are, what's important to you, and what you actually want. And this actually doesn't just apply to Pokemon, it's also true in life. A lot of people want to win now, and then the people who win in the long run are the people who are willing to work hard without the glory or the glamour now. Not that that matters, but I think it's interesting. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and good luck. I really hope that this helps you and that you are able to meet your goals. So target your goals, know your goals, and then do what's going to help you reach them.